So today we're going to talk about hopeless to hope-filled for the holidays. So when you're watching this, whether it's a replay or it's live, please write in the comments, what does the Christmas season mean to you? One of the things that I know, especially today, I have heard that today is a busier shopping day than Black Friday. So maybe Christmas means to you presents. Maybe Christmas means to you, it could be being with family. It could also be traveling. It could be Jesus. It could be just getting together. It might not be a Christmas season. It might be Hanukkah season for you. So what does Hanukkah season mean to you? What is this holiday season, the time of, the 21st of December until the end of the year? We have New Year's Eve coming up too. So there's a time for reflection. So if you want to put down what Christmas means to you or what this holiday season means to you, that would be great. And we have Alicia and Christine and Galen on. So hi, thanks guys for joining. Alicia says Christmas is, for me, is family. My family is both a given family and my chosen family. Absolutely. Christine says, hey Shay. Hey Christine, thank you for being here. So one of the things that I think a lot of people forget is exactly what you said, Alicia. So thank you for bringing that up, is family. And we forget that, chosen family is also family. And we forget that the holidays isn't about gifts. It's about being present with those you love. So what does that look like? Well, one of my questions today, for today, is someone wrote in and said, hey, Shay, what do I say to my 18-year-old daughter who has moved out into an apartment with her boyfriend and making some questionable choices? What do I say to her? So I want to thank you for that person for writing in and asking. And it's interesting, really an interesting question. And, so many times we want to tell our kids what to do, right? As a parent, that's what parents do, right? They want to make sure to protect them. And this situation might not be a great situation in your mind. And on the other side, your daughter's 18, so she's making these adult decisions that you might not agree with. So it's really about just loving her, and you can still share with her the experiences you've had at 18, and you can share with her what your fears are for her. And unfortunately, you have to let her make those decisions, and you have to let her fall if that's what's going to happen. You have to let her learn. Otherwise, they're never going to learn. We had our experiences. Anyone who is above 18 had our experiences of when our first time we moved out, our first love, all of those. And we couldn't have been told by someone the right thing to do. We had to figure it out. And so that's what ends up happening, is we have to figure out how to let a little bit go as a parent. And this is the first time this parent is an empty nest. The first child is grown wings and moved out. And so it's scary. And it's okay to share with your daughter that you're scared for her. You're scared to be, in a different parental dynamic too. So it's really about how you want to show up. So we all have seasons of life. And so as a parent, you started out taking care of the newborn to the infant stage, to the toddler stage. And after they go off to school, you get them a little bit more freedom. They see their personality comes out, their individuality comes out. And as the years go on, all the way from elementary to middle school to high school, and they graduate. And, some of them go off to college, some of them don't. They might stay at home and move in with their friends. Could be boyfriend, could be friends. There are times when you will not agree with the choices your children make. And that could be multiple times throughout their lives, and it's okay. And it's okay to just say, hey, you know what? This is why I'm fearful for you. This is what I've been through. And it's okay to just let her make whatever choices she's going to make. And, then ask her, what did she learn from it? So we all have a season of life. I mean, ourselves as adults, we went through that season of life too. At one point, we graduated from high school and then went on to the next step, whether that was moving out on our own, going to college, going away to college, whatever that looked like. We had a season. Which brings my next question, really hard, is about the season of when there's a loss. Because as we know, there's also, we grow up, we grow older, our loved ones grow older, and, sometimes we experience great loss. And this time of year, it's almost amplified. That loss is amplified in the holidays for some reason. And I think it's really because most of us are used to spending the holidays with our family, our loved ones. So if we have lost a loved one, then it's just very prominent that they're not there. So we're going through that season, a season of loss. And when we have that season of loss, we have to be okay with whatever it is that we're feeling. We have to be okay with honoring what we're feeling. So if that means that you cry on the way to work, or you get upset, it's okay. There's no judgment, and it's okay to treat yourself with compassion and kindness. So you don't judge yourself and you don't beat yourself up for having feelings. It's actually very good to have feelings. It's actually very beautiful to have feelings. So this question was written in, and it says, "Hey Shay, what do I say to myself to have hope when I've experienced so much loss in the last few years?" And I can completely relate to this person. And I have to say, first of all, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry that you've had loss. And that is, like I had said before, it is a season. Sometimes we go through seasons where we have numerous losses all at once. I myself, in the last 4.5 years, had multiple losses, and this person also did, that wrote in and explained all of that in the email. And all I can tell you is that grief comes and goes. It is sometimes comes out of nowhere. Just the other day, my client and I were talking about Netflix and what shows we've seen. So, and the funny thing is I was talking about The Crown, the show The Crown on Netflix. And she's like, "You like that?" And I said, "I do. In fact, I got my dad hooked on it." And for those of you who don't know, my dad had passed away last summer. And she was asking me questions about the show and how she felt about watching The Crown, and just talking about when my dad and I would watch The Crown, I all of a sudden had these humongous tears rolling down my face talking to her. And, I found myself apologizing. And I said, I'm so sorry. I'm crying. And really, there's nothing to apologize for. We have feelings. We all have feelings. There is not, well, I should say there is probably one or two people on the planet that don't have emotions. However, I'm talking for the collective of the most of us. We have feelings and emotions, and it's really okay to let them show. It's okay to process them with someone else. If you're having a conversation and you get choked up, it's okay. It's best to just let that flow and not stop yourself. So to the person who wrote in and asked, what do I say about, I've experienced so much loss. How do I have hope? Excuse me. And this is hopefully not gonna, hinder my voice all night. So I like to make acronyms, and those who know me know I'm always making up something. And so for hope, first of all, it's one of my favorite words because it's kind of like faith. You only need the size of a mustard seed. You only need a size of a mustard seed of hope to get through the moment. And sometimes that's all you have. We look at our situation and we can be like, wow, today just was really awful. I'm going through all this stuff. I'm going through, like this person wrote, and I'm going through all this loss, and I'm alone, and I just don't know what to do. So the acronym for hope first starts with honor your feelings. The H is honor your feelings. So whatever those feelings are, a grief especially, just let it process, let it come out. And then the O stands for oppose your thoughts. So many times with grief, we get caught up in the things that we are thinking about that this person will miss, and that we will miss them in those moments of our lives. For instance, my dad will not be able to be there when I walk down the aisle one day when I get married. And there are moments when I get stuck in my head and I'm thinking about that, and all of this grief comes up, and it's okay. And so when they say oppose your thoughts, it's time to kind of step out of your head and the overthinking and step into feeling. And so sometimes you need to figure out how to step into your feelings. And so I'm going to give you an exercise. So hopefully those of you who are listening to this while you drive, do not do this. But I just want you to take a moment and, first of all, take a deep breath and really breathe into the center of your body. And in order to do that, put your hand over your heart. Put your hand over the center of your chest. And you can close your eyes and just breathe in. And take several deep breaths. And that's a great way to stop overthinking, overanalyzing, over-worrying, having that anxiety, having that I miss this person so much, which I get. Believe me, I get. And it's okay to miss them. But you're just honoring those feelings because you've taken a step away from your thoughts and stepped into your heart. So you can open your eyes and hopefully things shift. things shift from overthinking and being concerned and analyzing and all that, and you can start to feel in a different way. The next letter in hope is P, and since we know that there are certain times of the year, it could be the anniversary of the death, it could be the holidays, it could be, their birthday, it could be a special moment, your birthday, it could be whatever it is. It could be a time when you know that you're going to be more sensitive than normal. So the P is prepare for it. So far we have the H is honor your feelings, the O is oppose your thoughts, and the P is prepare for it. So for myself, the holidays aren't great for me. It is extremely hard for me to be in a positive mood during the holidays. I can get so wrapped up in my thoughts and feeling bad about myself and where I'm at, or even my circumstances or the people that I've lost. And I had to take a moment because I couldn't talk anymore. Had to breathe through almost crying. So you have to prepare for it. So because I know that Christmas is always hard for me, Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, but even this year it was hard. So I knew it was coming. So I chose to make decisions and make plans that would be different than what I would have done before. Especially since both of my parents are gone now, I would have spent the holidays, one holiday with one and one holiday with the other. So preparing, I chose to do something different. I chose to make a plan of how I can do something that's out of my comfort zone a little bit, that will kind of create this little, almost a safety net, really, because it'll get you to stop thinking about what you don't have or who is not there, and it'll get you focusing on the present. And at the beginning, we talked about presence, right? So the present is in this moment right now. That's all we have. Yesterday was history. Tomorrow is a mystery. And today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. For the holidays, to step out of your comfort zone and do something different, you are being present with whatever it is that you're feeling at that moment, and which just makes a huge difference in how you handle the holidays. It gives you, again, that little tiny mustard seed of hope. So you're not focusing on the negative. You're focusing on tomorrow just might be a pinch better than today. And thank goodness it could be. Because I know a lot of us have, been stuck in that tomorrow's going to suck because today sucked kind of mentality. Excuse me. And if that's what you think about, and if that's what you focus on, then you're right. It is going to suck. However, if you are willing to practice focusing on what could be better, what is in the moment, what is in the present moment, checking in with your emotions, checking in with your feelings, then you have a choice. Once again, we've gone through H, we have honored our feelings, we oppose our thoughts by checking in with our heart, We've prepared for that Christmas, for that holiday season, or that anniversary date, or of the loss, or whatever it is. We know it's coming. We're doing the steps. And it's okay to express yourself and say, well, I know that today is a bad day. And if you say, and tomorrow is going to be bad too, I'm going to ask you to oppose your thoughts again. Go back to the O and say, you know what? It might not be. What if it's not? What if it's just a pinch better? Because that's all you need, is just a pinch better of hope to get you through the next step. So about the next step, we talked about being present. So when you're giving gifts for Christmas, does anybody have a special gift that they got at Christmas time? Please write that in the chat. The comments that have been written so far is, what's up, Mama? Chat from Chad. Thank you. Ooh, I like that mustard seed. Yes, Alicia. Christine writes, you only need a mustard seed of hope to get through the moment. Yes, definitely, Christine. Thank you. Alicia says, breathe as if breathing through your heart. Absolutely. Breathing through your heart instead of breathing through your throat, which is what we do a lot of times, is just focus on our breath up here. We don't focus on our breath in the middle of our chest. And Randy says, hi, Shay. So put down, if you will, in the chat, your favorite present. Because when I was growing up, my favorite present, well, what I asked for and what I got was two separate things. So what I asked for was a radio. Well, when I said that, my 9-10-year-old brain thought radio with a cassette players, because I'm old, and was able to record music and play music and have the dual cassette players. And unfortunately, what I got was a radio. There was no cassette players. It did have FM though, so at least I was scored in that area, and it did have a nice antenna. However, I was always told my whole life, and maybe you guys were told this too, it is better to give than receive. Have any of you been told that from your parents? Maybe that's something that was only in my household, but please write in the chat if you were told it's better to give than receive. So I got to thinking about this today. Well, I got to thinking about this question or this phrase preparing for this. So if it's better to give a gift to someone else than to receive, that's the implication, right? That's the intention that's behind that phrase. It's better to give a gift to someone else. But that's not what's said. What's said is it's better to give than receive. So when we're giving, who are we leaving out? You. You're leaving out giving to you, which is such I was such an aha for me, because I'm thinking, how often do we have the chance to give ourselves something? And I don't mean material things. We have a chance to give ourselves something, and we don't give it. And we give it to others so freely, and we're unable to give it to ourselves. And those particular things I'm talking about is compassion, is kindness, is love, patience, trust, we give that to others freely, and we forget to give that to ourselves. So what if this holiday season, during the prepare for it stage, you gift yourself the gift of patience? You give yourself the gift of compassion, the gift of kindness, the gift of love, the gift of being patient with yourself. If you were able to do all of that, then you'd be able to, it would overflow onto others. That's what's so amazing. We think we have to give and then we get nothing back. Well, if you are giving from a place of overflow, you don't have to get anything back. There's no expectation of having anything to get anything back. In fact, you're good. You're so good that you don't need to get anything back in return. You don't need to receive anything. So for this holiday season, I want you to think to yourself, what can I give to myself? And maybe all you have to do is go back to that checking in with your emotions, closing your eyes and putting your hand on your heart and taking deep breaths and say, I am giving to myself compassion so that I can give compassion to others freely. And maybe you have to say that a couple of times, or maybe it's kindness, or maybe it's trust, maybe it's love. Whatever it is that you're lacking, start there. Or whatever you think you're lacking, start there. Because once you prepare for that, by doing that exercise, you're honoring yourself, right? You're posing your thoughts. You're preparing yourself for the holidays. And you know that it's going to be tough. So you're going to prepare yourself with compassion. And then you can express yourself through compassion onto others because you have filled yourself up with your own compassion. And that's, again, where this just whole process just really creates this little spark of hope to take you from something where you might feel hopeless. And I have been hopeless. I have been at moments of my life feeling so depressed and in so much physical pain that I wanted to die. And I was at a young age when I went through that. And then there were moments where I was in my 20s where I was just waiting to die because I was so miserable in where I was in my life. I didn't have any hope then either. And something shifted for me. And what shifted for me was being able to say, to honor my feelings of, this is how I feel. I am hopeless. And just by saying, I feel hopeless, I was able to have that little bit of mustard seed of hope, of wait, what else is there? And I started to dream differently, and I started to plan differently, and I started to see things differently because, again, what you focus on grows. So if you're focusing on how hopeless you are, that's all the farther you're going to get. If you can focus on these 4 steps, honor your feelings, oppose your thoughts, prepare for, and expressing yourself, it gives you that little bit just to get you through the next day. So hope itself lives in the present. It doesn't live in the past, doesn't live in the future. It lives in the present because you have hope that tomorrow can be just a little bit better than today. Now, I suggest not putting what little bit better means, because then that takes away from, again, it takes away from the present. You're focused too much on the future. So the hope lives in the present. So I hope this has been helpful. It has filled me with hope to just be able to talk about it. It has filled me with hope to be able to answer these people's questions of what do I say in this particular moment, from what do I say to my 18-year-old daughter who moved out with her boyfriend, to the person who asked me, what do I say to myself to have hope when I've experienced so much loss. And I want to leave you, if there's any questions, please put them in the chat. I do want to leave you with this quote from Oprah, and I'm going to put that in the chat as well. But the quote is that you must be fearless enough to give yourself the love you're not receiving. So again, ask yourself this season, what can I give to myself? Maybe it's love. Maybe it's compassion. Maybe it's a kind word. Maybe it's a positive outlook. Maybe it's having that mustard seed size of hope that tomorrow might be better. Maybe it's opposing your thoughts of focusing on all of the things that could go wrong and focus on all the things that could go right. You know, people are talking about 2020 being the great year for new visions. So focus on what your new vision could look like for your life. Maybe it looks completely different than where you're at right now. And awesome. I hope it is. I hope it is different than where you're at right now. Hope you're more successful than where you're at right now. The interesting, for me, it's interesting thing about being able to do this live is, one, being able to interact at the same time, but also just being able to share some of the things that I feel like, for me, I'm a Christian and very faith-filled, and so I feel like God has placed this on my heart to talk about hope. And I don't know where I would be without that. I don't know how I could go forward without just having that little bit of hope, that little bit of faith to just make it through to the next day. Because there were times when I was going through so much loss, there was times when I was going through so much abuse that it felt like I was crawling through molasses. And I don't know if you've ever tried to crawl through molasses, but it is, and I have not physically, but it is probably not the easiest thing to do. Very slow going. And I've learned that slow is the new fast. So it doesn't matter how fast you get through something. It's actually how compassionate you are as you're trying to get through something. Compassionate to yourself. So again, I leave you with the question, what can you give to yourself this holiday season? I am Shay Sparks. I am a certified fearless living coach. I am the host of the Power of Investing in People podcast and the author of How to Get Your Voice Back book. So if you guys want to connect with me even more, please come to my website, which is shaysparks.com. If you want to connect with me, definitely send me an email, which is heyshay@shaysparks.com. Or you can send me a message through Messenger on Facebook. It has been an honor and a pleasure to be here. And thank you so much for everybody who participated in tonight's live stream. And if you're watching the replay, I hope that you will interact and answer these questions, and please write that you're watching the replay. And I just really want to say, I hope that your holidays are better every year than the year before, and that you have made them that way because you know how hopeless they can feel. So, is there any questions that anybody would like me to answer? And if not, we will say farewell. And I will be here on January 21st at 6 Central, 7 Eastern, and I believe that's a Monday. So it is, Hey Shay, What Do I Say is a monthly show every 21st of the month. And we will be discussing a new topic then. So again, thank you guys for being here, and hope you have a happy holidays. Good night.